Hey, this is Tarence Lauchié, and I'd like to thank you for tuning in to this podcast, The Growth Exchange. This podcast was designed to curate conversation, dialogue, and monologue around all things growth. I believe that everything living has the potential to grow into its fullest and most maximal potential. So let's grow. Hey, greetings and welcome back. This is another episode of the Growth Exchange podcast with Dr. Tarence Lauchié. I'm excited about your being here, but I'm even more excited about my guest today. Before I introduce my guest, I do want to encourage you to take a few moments to go back and look at some of the other episodes in the catalog. Yeah, we've got a catalog. We've been at this for a little while, and shout out to the team, which you'll be getting an opportunity to meet pretty soon, that has helped put this podcast on. We're coming to the close of a year, but we're opening up great opportunities for discussion, conversation, and more importantly, growth. So welcome to the Growth Exchange. I have today a friend, somebody who I've come to know. It's been close to 20 years, if not 20, that I have been connected to this gentleman. And it was by virtue of a mutual friend that I got to get on this podcast. So shout out to Craig Saunders. But Duane Garth, all the way from the Detroit Southfield area.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm beyond grateful for this opportunity.
I'm beyond grateful for you as well. Not only did you come into my life and become a good source of just bouncing some things, but you also are a certified financial planner. Yeah. You and your wife do some things that help to advance kingdom growth for couples as well as singles and individuals. In fact, I'm a fan or client. But tell us a little bit about your business first on the top of this, and then we'll get into some really basic conversation, just two brothers talking, all right?
Well, I own a company called Garth Financial Group. I've done that for since 2002. So how many years is that?
That's a lot. 23 years.
Yeah. Prior to that, my career was I was a stockbroker at Merrill Lynch. Mm-hmm. That's where I started my career. And I always just wanted to go out and start my own firm. And my firm is, we manage wealth according to biblical principles.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so that's what it's about.
Yeah.
And so I've been grateful to do that. I look at it as, I was just talking to my wife a couple of weeks ago and saying, you know what? I'm really serving people. Mm-hmm. That's what I do. That's what we do, serve people.
Yeah.
It's a serving. When you help people with their finances, help them reach their financial goals, whether it's the kids to go to college or the retirement goals or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's really, I really look at it as like it is a ministry.
I was going to say there's no doubt about it, and why you might be shy in saying that it's been ministry, even to me and my family. You helped me to understand and unravel some mysteries of insurance, as well as just some basic investment options. Yeah. I still haven't gotten rich quick, which I appreciated that you said this is not a get rich quick thing. In fact, investment is just that. You put it in and you wait and you do what's necessary to be a good steward. Stewardship. Let's talk about that.
Yes.
Because that sounds like it's the foundation of what you do with Garth Financial.
Yeah, stewardship. It means that you are managing your money, your family, your lifestyle in a way that is responsible and and accountable to God. You know, so. That's what it's really all about, and so that's what we try to foster in terms of when we are managing, when we are advising our clients.
Sure.
Yeah. So recently, I have had the opportunity to kind of expand my business. I took on a whole new book of clients. I was partnering with a gentleman who retired.
Yeah, you mentioned that. So you inherited it quite a few.
I inherited his
portfolio.
His portfolio. Yeah. So now I have like over 500 clients.
Congratulations.
So
man.
The challenge that I'm being faced with right now is I was praying to God in terms of, I'm going to have to add some people to help me manage these clients. And you're talking about $90 million in assets. So it's really an opportunity. And then I got a couple other gentlemen that when they retire, they want to transfer their business to me too. So
you must be stewarding well, obviously.
Yeah. It's really a great opportunity. Yeah. So I'm really blessed in that way.
Yeah.
So I just want to do it right. And I know, that again, I need to add some people so I can manage it properly.
There might be somebody that's tuned in right now that could be a potential interviewee.
Yeah.
For what you're looking to do. Of course, they need to have the financial background, but a teachable, trainable spirit. It's Garth Financial Group. What's the website?
GarthFinancialGroup.com.
Yeah. Simple enough, right?
Right.
Well, I just want to make sure that they go check you out, and then they can make contact from the
Mm-hmm.
website. That's probably the best place to send them.
They can go to GarthFinancialGroup.com.
Yeah.
Or they can go to my LinkedIn.
Okay.
Look me up on LinkedIn and send me a message as well.
Yeah, and that's Duane, Duane.
Duane, Garth, Garth.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at right now. So
I'm glad one that we got to meet. I appreciate that because we found we share some things in common. One, the love of ministry or the love of serving people. Because when I hear ministry, I don't think pulpit. Sometimes pulpits become performance platforms, whereas I look at ministry as meeting the needs of people on a personal level, and then using the biblical principles to apply those strategies for life success. Another thing that we landed on as a common thread is our idea of success is not just material gain. It's stewardship, and it's also walking in the increase that God promised. Share a little bit of your philosophy that we talked about, because you're raising a family. You got a teenager now. And
teenage daughter, 17 years old.
17 years old.
In this crazy world that we live in right now.
Absolutely. But you're not alone now. 'Cause how long have you and your wife been married?
27 years, and this is the problem right now for everybody.
Yes, that is the problem.
Me included.
Yep.
This is the big distractor.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So, for a 17-year-old, it's her life. That's her life. If you took that away, that's her life source.
Exactly.
Well, tell me about your whole philosophy as it relates to, what it means to be financially successful, or what it means to grow in the area of personal finance.
I think one thing that people are mostly challenged with is that how to live below your means, particularly us as people, African Americans, because we want to show that we are successful. And you know how we do that?
Flash and cash, right?
Yeah. So to be able to live below your means, you want to structure your lifestyle, if you can, where you are spending 80% of what you make, and save the other 20.
Yeah.
Give 10 to God, and give 10 to yourself.
Okay.
I just did. Just think about it. If you were able to save $500 a week from, let's say you got paid every week, you got to save $500 a week. That's $2,000 a month. That's $26,000 you'll have in a year just by saving $500 a week.
Wow.
If you did that for 5 years, you have like over $100,000 saved.
And that's not including the compounded interest.
That's not including the interest. So systematic saving and investing is the key. You don't have to you do what you can really afford to do. You don't have to do 500. If you can do 100,
sure,
do something.
That's one of the things I liked about you, especially during COVID. I got a little nervous about where I was financially in the future of my family, the legacy that we call Nasaba. We up to 10 grandbabies now. So, of course, I wanted to make sure we started putting some footprints for future. And you shared something that I think the listening audience could benefit from. You said, you start where you can. Don't go beyond where you are to try to get to where you want to be. Start where you are. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, get started systematically. So I mentioned $500 a week, but if you can't do that, do $100 a week. Do whatever you can.
Sure.
It will accumulate to some savings. Most people don't have an emergency savings set up.
Right.
Because we're spending all our money.
Yeah.
So you want to do that. Try to do that. Do something systematic. And if so, if you can't do it, have it set up where it automatically comes out of your paycheck,
sure,
or automatically comes out of your checking account or whatever. So that way you can build some savings for yourselves.
Yeah, the word savings is a lot like the word diet. People, love the benefits but hate the sacrifice.
Right.
What about investments? Because that's a little bit different than saving.
Yeah, investments, is the next step. After you build that foundation of saving, then you can begin to start investing.
Yeah.
But you got to get the savings in place first. You want to have some. They always say you need some emergency cash on hand, and so you want to try to build that first. If you can, and so then you want to go to investing.
Yeah.
And then investing is where you really build wealth.
Okay.
You got your account. You see where that's at, and it's been sitting. You really haven't really touched it, but it's grown, right?
Yeah. I'm all about growth now.
Yeah, right.
It took a pandemic and also a lot of maturing to come to the place of realizing you don't have to have a lot to have wealth. Wealth is not just calculated in dollars and cents, but it's calculated in how you use those dollars and cents. If you were to give some wisdom to a young person who's just starting out with a family, I know the big three, of course, would be savings, insurance, and investment. Are there other steps in the process?
And insurance is a good one that people forget about.
Yeah.
Yes, particularly when you're younger, that's when you need insurance the most. Because if there was a loss in your family, then they would be greatly impacted.
Yeah.
Because you don't have as much savings in place. That's the purpose for insurance. If you were to, unfortunately, pass away or whatever, you got the insurance in place to take care of your family. So you want to make sure you do that. And I think that a good place for young folks to start is with term insurance. So there's two types of insurance: term and whole life. Term allows you to get the most amount of insurance for the least amount of cost. So you can do that and insure yourself and make sure your family's taken care of if something were to happen to you. So something to look at. A lot of people don't think insurance is taboo for some reason.
I think part of it's hereditary. When we come back from the break, I want to talk a little bit about your history and some of your background, what turned you on to finances and helping people to grow in this area, but also some of the myth busters that we can talk about. One of them, of course, is that Black people don't get insurance. Well, we can bust that myth because I'm sure in your portfolio of more than 500 clients, you got some folks that understand the importance of insurance. And how did they get there? Somebody had to inform them. We're going to take a break. When we come back from the break, I do want you to just feel free in sharing even your testimony about how God has blessed.
I'll be happy to do that.
So we're going to take a quick break. Just a quick check-in with some sponsors. If you'd like to become a sponsor of one of the Growth Exchange episodes, contact us from any of our social media sites, but just reach out and say, hey, I'd love to be a sponsor or maybe even a guest. We'll be back in just a moment with Duane Garth. This episode is sponsored by Speak Media Services, where we believe everyone deserves the opportunity to capture and preserve their unique stories. You're not just another number in the crowd. Your individuality matters. Our intimate photography and videography services are tailored to your vision and budget, ensuring your essence shines through. Allow us to help preserve the moments that mean the most. With our support, you'll create cherished keepsakes to treasure for years to come. Speak Media Services, your story, your way. Welcome back to the Growth Exchange. I'm Dr. Tarence Lauchié. I've got Duane Garth. We were in the middle of talking about being good stewards over what we have, and that legacy is living. It's not just the amount of money, but it's what you do with it. But there's more to you than that. Let's go all the way back to the 1960s. You were born in the 60s, right? Yeah. Your wife is watching. She's like, yes.
But I'll be happy to tell my story.
Sure,
I was born in Detroit.
Me too.
Yeah. I went to...
It's something about Detroiters. You do know that, right? Something about it.
I went to Mumford High School.
Okay, I was on the east side.
Yeah. I went to Cass first.
Oh. Excuse me. No. You usually get that response. You get that response out of people like, "Oh, okay, Cass."
I went to Cass, but when you go to Cass, you got to pick a curriculum.
Yes.
So my father was a skilled trades guy. So he said, boy, you need to pick a trade. So I didn't know what I was picking in junior high school. So it was heating and air conditioning. Obviously, that wasn't my bent.
Right, but it would make you very wealthy now.
But it just wasn't for me. So I ended up leaving Cass, and I went back to Mumford, which was my neighborhood school.
Sure. A lot of greats came out of Mumford.
Oh, a lot of great folks came out of Mumford.
Lots of great folks, yeah.
And then after I graduated, I went to Wayne County Community College, took some classes. Then I took a pause, and I was working. My mother was actually probably one of the first African American managers at Honeywell Corporation.
Nice.
Here in.
So you had some corporate exposure and some skilled trades exposure.
My father was a skilled tradesman. Yeah, he's from Alabama. So he came up here like everybody that matriculated up here, working
the
in
Great
auto
Migration.
plant. Working on auto plants. And then, so I was working then I got a job at Honeywell because my mother was working there. And then I was a salesperson. I was selling heating and cooling controls, thermostats
Wow.
to the wholesalers. Like you go to the wholesalers and you would, buy. And so I was selling like thermostats and stuff like that.
Okay.
But, and then while I was going to school, because I went to school at night, I worked during the day, went to school at night. Honeywell paid for my education. They had a tuition reimbursement program, so that's what I did. The only thing I regret that I didn't go away to college, but that's what I did. So I finally got my degree in finance, and then I went to I started looking for jobs in the investment industry because I knew, like at 19, this is what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
For some reason, it was just in me.
Well, that was good. You had an idea.
And so so I started looking for jobs in the financial industry, and then I finally got hired by Merrill Lynch as a broker.
Really?
That's my path.
Okay.
Right. So I was there for 12 years.
That's a blessing, man, because think about it. Most people have so many jaunts and turns in their journey, everything from, incarceration to rehabilitation, all of those things, but you were blessed to be able to be on the path and a course.
Yeah.
What do you attribute that to?
Persistence.
Okay.
Because I got turned down many times.
Well, learning sales early on, because you were in teens, you were doing sales, right?
Yeah, I was in sales. Yeah.
Yeah. So that helped.
But I got, you got to just you can't let nothing stop you, you know? So I was persistent, and then I finally got that job at Honeywell. And then after that, I was there for 12 years. But like I said, I always wanted to start my own firm. And then in 2002, I left and started my own firm. Then
what was that like as far as that leap, coming from the security of a corporate job?
Clearly a leap of faith.
Yeah.
I probably lost a good part of my customer base.
Okay.
Because when you leave a major firm, they consider those their clients. So you got to try to get the people that
to leave with you.
With you, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And then they don't look at that kindly, So, but a lot of folks came with me.
So you didn't start from scratch. You had a couple.
I had some folks that.
That means you had good relationships with them that they would even take the risk with you, because entrepreneurship is risky. It's no joke.
At the same time, let me tell you this story. I don't know if you knew this. We owned a Christian bookstore. Do you remember that story?
Yeah, I think you told me about that. It was
we owned a Christian bookstore from 2001 to 2003.
Yeah.
It was called True Vine Christian Bookstore.
True Vine, I remember now.
At that time, that's where I became closer to God, because when we opened that Christian bookstore, a lot of my friends left.
Wow.
Family was persecuting us.
Wow.
We got persecution from family members. The family members didn't support us. It's weird.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? It could be the content, though. Remember, the Word of God will separate. It'll separate the sheep from the goat, and those who just are religious and those who have a relationship.
So we had the bookstore, and we had Garth Financial Group started in 2002. So we eventually closed the bookstore because the whole advent of online book
access. Yeah.
So it's just
the
revenues weren't exceeding the
Plus, people could do direct wholesale with CBD.
Yeah.
Christian book distributors, and here in Grand Rapids area this was a mecca for books between Baker Bookhouse, Zondervan's, Dickerson Press.
And I would encourage anybody. We had a lease. Don't ever get into what's called a triple net lease.
Triple net. Those are bad words. Oh yeah, I know about triple net. Yeah.
So the owner of that building was like Satan, really.
What'd you say? He was running a Christian bookstore in Satan's camp.
Yeah. So that's my camera. Don't ever get a triple net lease, guys. Don't.
Well, triple net, a lot of people may not understand that. Triple net just lease, simply means that you're gonna pay
you pay for everything.
Right. You're gonna pay yours. You're gonna pay the owners, and you're gonna pay any other tenant stuff. Triple net, all three, you paying for it.
It's like you own a building, but you don't.
Exactly. So the liability, the insurance, all of that's on you. Common use space,
Yes.
all on you.
Yes.
And then I guess the duration of the lease makes a difference too.
Yeah.
How long you're going to be in that triple net lease.
So we closed that store, but we had some great testimonies from that
absolutely.
store. Man.
Yeah, you guys were located on
Southfield and 11 Mile.
11 Mile,
in
or
Lathrop Village.
It's a strip mall in Lathrop Village. I remember that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you, but I knew of the bookstore.
You knew of the store?
Yeah. What happened was that I've known Craig forever and a day. Somebody mentioned you all's bookstore, and every time I went back to Detroit, because I lived in Lansing for quite a while, I would look for Christian bookstores. There was one on Woodward. And then World Books was one of them. And then, of course, Truvine. Yeah, in that 3-year window. I had to come there at least once.
Probably
Yeah,
did.
yeah. It was destiny, though, man. I appreciate what you have done in helping to educate me on the significance of just, trickle effect type investment. But the other important thing is family and building legacy. Give us some insights on legacy, and how to build that legacy, not just from the technical, financial piece, but even the spiritual stuff. I mean, that plays a big part.
Well, you want to make sure that you are living your life. Like you said, you don't want to just leave a legacy. You want to live a legacy.
That's right. That's important.
So that means that you got to live a life that exemplifies something that somebody appreciates and something that somebody wants to emulate. So that's what a legacy is to me. So they can talk when you leave here. They say, my dad Tarence was a great guy. You know what he did? That kind of stuff.
Sure.
But
I'd love to hear it while I'm alive. Or actually, I would feel better not even having to hear it, just them knowing it, them being secure. And the grandchildren being able to know, that they've got a future. We've got some generational things. The Mythbusters is where I'm going right now. Some generational things that work against us. What are some of the myths or the stereotypes that you've been able to see broken off of, let's say, African-American families?
Well, it's gotten a lot better over time, as the generations have. But back in the day, like I said, people didn't believe in insurance.
True.
You know that story, right? So they didn't want to do that. But it's gotten a whole lot better now. So then people, our African Americans are investing more in an effort to leave an inheritance for their children's children. They're doing better estate planning. You know what estate planning is? Leaving a will, a trust, and make sure your beneficiary designations are set up properly.
Yeah, that was the other benefit of having a dynamic relationship with you. You introduced us to a great attorney, estate attorney, and that kind of thing,
Yes.
which I probably should have her on here too.
She probably would be a good guest.
Yeah.
So all those things attribute to leaving a legacy, not just talking, but you got to have the right forms and paperwork in place, the right documents in place, so that legacy would pass on with minimal challenges. So you want to do that as well. So and so that's what I've seen changed pretty much over time. So.
Yeah. So there is hope for the next generation and the generation after that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I think I'd ask on the top of the show that, what would you say to a young person starting out? And you talked about living beneath your means and that type of thing. What about somebody who's already started out past the hill and on their way down, that just wake up? They're just awakening to it.
Hey, you can change that.
Start wherever you can, right?
You can change that. You can say, look, wait a minute. You could, it would require you to reduce your expenses somehow, some way. So maybe your apartment or wherever you're living may cost too much. So if you really want to live below your means, you have to do something to change that, and that is reduce your expenses.
Yeah, the whole concept of living below your means is foreign to most people because either they come from families of poverty. I'm talking African Americans that I've grew up with. And once they begin to obtain, they consume everything that they get. And they consume it based on, I deserve this, we worked hard, we're finally here, but they don't realize it's eating away at what could potentially be legacy. How do we break that cycle? Because there's the I'm trying to think of the financial guru who's the Christian guy, Dave Ramsey.
Dave
There's the
Ramsey.
Dave Ramsey effect, where, he talks about paying everything off, don't owe nobody nothing. And then there's others who say leverage everything with credit. Somewhere in the middle has got to be a good understanding.
Well, you heard the concept of good debt and bad debt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Good debt supposedly is that if you're using that debt to build a business. So let's assume that you borrow, and that money that you borrow is exceeding what you have to pay to make payments. Then that's a good thing, right? But if you borrow and it's not exceeding your income, then it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that you are positioning yourself where what your I would prefer to be 100% debt free, and that's what I would prefer. So you don't have to worry about making payments, but but if you do have debt, then you have to do some things to eliminate that debt. So let's assume that you have credit cards at 18 and 20. Credit cards are like at 29%.
Oh, yeah. Anything in the double digits is the devil.
They're inching. They used to be 18%. They're like 29%
Oh, yeah.
now.
Oh, yeah.
So if you got a house and you get an equity loan, or you get an equity loan that's charging you 6%, and you pay off those credit cards, that's smart.
Smart move.
Right? Yeah.
And you've leveraged appreciable asset as opposed to a depreciable asset. Yeah. Yeah. So we're not going to get into a whole class, but I just wanted the conversation to be at least inviting enough for people to want to contact you and to say, hey, I've got a couple of questions, and I would like to hire your services at some point. I mean, we've got a little bit of time left. What would be we didn't talk a little bit about politics or any of those things, but what's your ideal scenario for people who really want to grow that legacy? What's the ideal scenario right now? Because the economy is challenging. People talk about gold, currency, crypto, all of those things. What's your ideal scenario?
The ideal scenario.
How are you making it? Really, pretty much, how are you making it?
Me?
Yeah.
As a believer, we need to be seeking God on every decision we make.
I know that's right.
Every decision we make right now, because we live in a very evil world. So that's the thing. God is clearly the source.
Okay.
So in every day, I would say that you want to take time and get in a prayer and see what God wants you to do. I pray, for decisions for my business. I don't just make those decisions haphazardly.
Yeah.
And so like I said, I mentioned earlier that I'm praying now about how to add people. Because if you add people, you got to pay for them, right? So you got to make sure you have enough revenues to take care of those folks. So that's where I'm at right now. Just recently, the Holy Spirit told me, make a list, call 10 people a day, 10 clients, existing clients.
Drawing back from some of your sales experience.
Yeah. Call 10 existing clients a day. So the key is, if he told you to do that, you got to do it and obey. If he told me to do that, then there must be something in that. So my thing would be that we got to connect with the Holy Spirit in every way we go, everything that we do.
Well, I think that's definitely a method of success. It's a strategy. It's not just haphazardly hoping that one day the Lord's going to bless. I used to tease in some of my motivational presentations that people who live in poverty frameworks are always waiting on something else to happen. They're waiting on the Lord, or they're waiting on the lottery, or they're waiting on the lawsuit, and I challenge people to go beyond the waiting to doing, to actually become activated in stewardship, activated in giving, being benevolent. What's your thoughts on giving? We got a few minutes on being seed sowers.
I'll tell you a testimony. My wife and I, we just recently felt the Lord was telling us to start giving our 10% again, because we had stopped.
Okay.
And so that's where we're at right
Yeah.
now. So,
But you understand the principle behind
yeah,
it.
yeah, right, yeah. So, giving is a good thing. You got to believe what the Bible says. If you give, it's going to be given unto you. Pressed down, shaken together, running over, shall men give to your bosom.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would say that you follow the Lord's lead in that as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's relational.
Yeah.
Think about it. Giving doesn't benefit one person. It benefits everyone, the
Right.
giver as well as the receiver.
Right.
But on the other end of it, it's more blessed to give than it is to receive. I don't want to preach, but we could.
Right.
Could. So what's next? You and your wife had been doing some seminars relating to married couples and families?
Well, at one point we had created a whole curriculum where we were doing financial literacy in the schools at one point.
Okay.
And then we created this entity called Money and Marriage.
Mm-hmm.
We have not done that, but per talking to you, we
You
probably
gonna fire it up again?
we might.
I'll tell you what. We'll bring it to Grand Rapids. We'll bring it back to Grand Rapids
Okay.
so that the two of you guys could share with not just our couples, but we'll make it open to the people that we know in this community. Maybe we can even do another podcast with both of you guys, and then that way we can kind of push it out there so people can benefit. Remember, this whole conversation and dialogue is about growth and change. You got any closing words you want to share?
I just want to say that, life is full of ups and downs and adversities, but you can't let them stop you. We've had a number of challenges, Tanya and I, over our 28 years,
Wow. Congratulations on 28.
27 years.
It feels like a lifetime, right?
No.
Well, I got 38 and I'm a newlywed, so.
38, okay. Yes, we've had some challenges, but God is good.
Amen.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good place to end this conversation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I'll definitely have you back, and then we should begin the conversation as soon as possible about bringing marriage and money. It sounds like an oxymoron, marriage and money. Bring that to the greater Grand Rapids area and make it available for people to come and be a part of it. Listen, you've been tuned into another episode of the Growth Exchange Podcast with Dr. Tarence Lauchié. Glad you tuned in. Stay tuned for more information about how to get in touch with us, how to support us, and how maybe even become a sponsor, partner of the Growth Exchange, where it's all about growth. Let's grow. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Growth Exchange. I'm Dr. Tarence Lauchié. It's been a pleasure to have these conversations and dialogues with our guests. If you notice, one thing we all share in common, and that is the ability, the desire, and the potential to grow and maximize our fullest potential. So keep tuning in. Share this with somebody, like it, maybe even invite somebody. And if you'd like to be a guest, contact us with the information that's here and available for you. Let's grow.